Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Divinity Guide. We've got some quick dialogue here, and then I will rejoin you.
The knowledge of the world is being gathered by an imp. A creature that is no more than the result of a demon's bowel movement imbued with the breath of life. And yet I am a tad jealous of that jabbering little jester. To know all. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished. You'll rue the day you lend your trust to anything that is demon-touched. But this particular specimen, it delights in scholarship. A quality, I must admit, that highly speaks to its advantage. Let us learn, Hunter, whether you like it or not, and through wisdom grow ever more mighty.
Unknown to all time, are you? Leave it to an imp to try to fill our minds with all manner of magical gobbledygook. I'll tell you who you are. Source hunters, members of the most esteemed order in Rivalon. Here to find out and grind out every last speck of dark magic in the realm. There, the enigma is solved. What are you? You think I'm... No, comrade. You can keep the honor of being the object of the Space Imp's special interest all to yourself. I just hope this fancy of yours doesn't interfere with your real job, or have you forgotten that little detail already? You're a source hunter first, last, and always, comrade.
Okay, so Jahan obviously not wild about the idea that a goblin is the chronicler of time, and then Medora being the, I don't know if I would call her kind of like a disbeliever, but she's finds it hard to believe that you know, the main characters are the object of some great. I don't know how she put it there. I kind of missed that, but anyways, all right. So we've got a there's another character here. Is that Beardotters? I don't know how to say that name. Luckily, I won't really be doing much with her throughout the game, so I won't have to say it often. But that is another character that you can recruit. Eventually, I will just to get her to go to the homestead, probably. But not for the time being.
A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Sicil, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs, you hear? I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Sicil, by which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into driveling hordes of their own misshapen number. Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you! Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition. If you must. Bravo! Figured that one out, did you? I haven't been stuck here for 2 years because we're being besieged by fluffy kittens, you know. Those brain-feasting freaks out there keep on coming. And it takes all the sword arms and all of Ahu's half-baked contraptions to keep them at bay. Keeping them at bay, that is all we do. Were that I could break their backs once and for all. How am I enjoying it? Are you spoiling for a fight, Hunter? Are you? Syseal stinks of fish, reeks of orcs, and on a good day, the wind disperses the stench of decomposing corpses. I can't remember the last time I had a proper piece of steak, and by now, I retch at the mere sight of sardines. So in conclusion, I am not enjoying Syseal. We are the pride of Rivellon, to be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in the dark and lurk in corners like some I could mention. No, we protect the civilized from the barbaric, and we do so impeccably. I'd say they're looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion. Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next.
Okay, so this is Captain Aureus. You need to speak with him in order to investigate the crime scene. Otherwise, the guy outside won't let you in. So that's why I came here right away. I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time just literally looting everything out of this room. So usually what I'll do here is have one character distract the person, and you can see here, hopefully you'll be able to tell. But when I go into the, or use the sneak ability here, you'll be able to actually see the line of sight of other characters. And if you enter the line of sight of people while you're in sneak mode, it makes you exit sneak mode. So keep that in mind, and that can be really annoying. But just because of the way that I've got him facing, it's actually hard to see his line of sight. So yeah, it's about what you would expect. Basically, you know, make a, you know, kind of like draw a triangle with the, I was gonna say with the point. The triangles have more than 1 point though, huh? But yeah, it's about what you would expect a line of sight to be. So just make sure that you don't walk in that line of sight, otherwise it'll bust you. And that's not the worst thing ever. And I mean, to be honest, even getting caught stealing, I know at least once or twice probably isn't going to matter. I think I think they'll call guards on you if I'm not mistaken. If you're, but that must be if you're. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if it's something to do with how the NPC. What's the right term? I guess depends on what the NPC thinks of you. So like if the NPC thinks really highly of you, maybe you can get away with stealing more. And then if you'll notice, if you do get caught stealing, the person who catches you will you'll lose some standing with them. So like I said, if you've got really, really high standing with a person, maybe you can steal a ton of times or get caught by them a bunch of times. But again, I haven't actually really done that too much, and I don't know if I've ever actually just like literally tried stealing right in someone's face as many times as I possibly could. I'm not sure, but generally what I do is avoid that at all costs, because obviously the more times that you get caught stealing by someone, the the more your standing goes down. And then if you want to try to buy or sell from them, that is going to affect the price of the goods that you try to sell. So again, don't get caught. And there's actually one more way to steal that I haven't unfortunately obtained the spell yet, but it's the scoundrel spell. I think it's called Walk in Shadows. I'll eventually get it, but with Walk in Shadows, it doesn't even matter. Like, a person can be looking right at you, and you can just steal right in front of them, as long as that is active. Unfortunately, with Walk in Shadows, that doesn't last that long, so you have to be careful. And sometimes, you know, it'll wear out and you'll get busted. So, you know, again, you know, as long as you're paying attention to the timer, you should be fine. But all right, so I grabbed everything, and I just want to take a look here. So Aureus has a diary, and man, this is hilarious. So he's talking about, or I take it this is the first few days of being stationed here in Sicil. Yeah, Sicil day 1, day 2, so on and so forth. But you can tell here he's totally distracted by birds. So I don't know. It's actually pretty funny. Like I said earlier, or I've said it in a couple of the other videos, but the writers did a really good job with this game. There's some really, really funny stuff in here. I mean, even Aureus, when you speak with him, his dialogue is awesome. He's saying something about Arhu being I don't know if I would say overly cautious, but he's like, oh, you know, a pigeon poops, and he thinks it's something, you know, it's the sky is falling or something like that. I forget the exact quote, but it's pretty good. But out of his, I don't know if that was his cupboard. I think it was his cupboard. You can get some smelly socks, and that's a quest item. Aureus's journal doesn't really do much, I don't think. Oops, I'm a Detective is pretty funny. It's like the most basic. And then I don't know if there was supposed to be a reference there. I feel like there's a bunch of references in this game that I don't quite get, like with the author's name. So I don't know if this one was a... I thought that one was an X-Files reference, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I can never remember Scully's first name. So I guess I could look that up, though. Let's see here. It'd be fun, huh? All right. So, anyways, other than that, I grabbed a couple of books here, and I'm just reading them to make sure that I get the just trying to make sure that I get all the recipes in my book. And then I'll just end up selling those books back to like a vendor later because I don't want to have all of them in my inventory.
How can I help you, my friend?
Oh, it's Dana Scully, and I think in the book it says Lana Scully, so that's pretty close. I don't know. Again, I'm not even sure if that's what they were going for, but it does kind of make sense. You know, X-Files and kind of like a murder mystery. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. I could be way off. All right, so up here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to steal everything from Arhu. He doesn't need it. So I've got one of my characters there, basically just distracting him. King of a pig. Oh. And I accidentally laid down in the bed and busted my stealth. Most of the time, you're not going to really get much out of these. Every once in a while, though, depending on if your lucky charm triggers, you'll get something extra. The magical unlock scroll, that's a really good scroll. Those will be useful in a couple of the areas of the game, so make sure you don't get rid of that. I would say if you can, you know, leave it in someone's inventory at all times. I don't remember exactly where we can use those at, but again, they're pretty useful. If you notice here, all of this stuff is in red. Obviously, that indicates that in order to get it, you have to steal, and thus you'll want to be sneaking. There was one item, I think his book. that talks about his contraption, and that you don't actually have to steal. You could just grab it, and he won't throw a tizzy about it. That's actually related to a quest that we'll take care of a bit later. Syceal is just so big, and there's so much to do in it that I will be probably avoiding a lot of the combat for the time being, and do mostly, I don't know, just kind of quests in town, I guess I would say.
I hope your quest
Alright, so now I'm
fares
just
well, dear
moving my
hunter.
character and changing Arhu's line of sight to the opposite side. Now, this is where you have to be really careful, though, because of the way the character wants to move, sometimes you'll move right in front of Arhu, and that'll obviously lose line of sight, or you'll be in his line of sight, like right now. And so, if you're not careful, you'll actually break your stealth, and then try to grab something, and he'll catch you grabbing it. So, again, you just have to be really careful. And now it happened again. So, what I actually really need to do here is just stop talking to him and then let him move, because there you go, he'll start walking off. And so now I'll just try to get in front
I
of
hope
him
your
again
quest
and
fares well, dear
start a
hunter.
conversation so that his line of sight, I don't have any line of sight issue. So there we go. So now he's on the other side of the room. So now we don't have to worry about, you know, walking in front of him while I'm sneaking. Okay. Choop, 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 choop. And pretty soon here I will take care of the, or I'll go grab the teleporter pyramids, and maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll make that the next video. But let's take a look at what he's got here. I don't know. At the beginning of the game, unfortunately, there isn't that much as far as, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes you can get lucky and these vendors will have something decent, but you can kind of check the rarity, or you can tell how good an item is kind of based on the border. So like most of the items don't have a border, and those are just like commons. And unfortunately I don't remember what or how it breaks down, but then like greens are one step up, and then I think it's blue next, and then I think it's purple, and then I think last is gold. I think that's how it breaks down. But that's generally how good an item is going to be. Is, you know, the higher up in rarity, the better an item should be. So I guess keep that in mind. But let's head back.
She bit me in the face.
Which where I'm gonna go to next. And that's the problem. At the beginning of the game, there's just so much to do right away that sometimes it's hard to, you know, pick a concrete thing here or there. But eventually here we'll have to head back into, yeah, actually what I want, or what I should do here is head back into the inn and grab the next, yeah, that's what I'll do next. Go grab the next bloodstone. So my goal actually was to get rid of either Jahan or Medora. I think I'm going to get rid of Jahan, and I'm going to pick up a different caster. And I'm going to make Jahan my my crafter throughout the game, because again, he already does have that scientist ability learned, so, or trait. So yeah, all right. So what I'm going to do here is enter. Oh, I guess I'm going to sell some stuff first. Yeah. And eventually here I'll donate a bunch of items to these guys to make sure that my standing, I guess, with them. I don't know. I feel like I should figure out what term they use in this game so it's not confusing. But you can tell it's up there in the upper right-hand corner. It's the star and then the -15. And I haven't, normally I would start at +5, but since my character has the know-it-all ability, everybody's standing drops by 20. So that's why I'm at -15. So unfortunately, by selling all this stuff to him, I'm not getting full price, but it's just something that I'm going to have to deal with for the time being. But, alright, that is all I have time for. So as always, I hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.